smoke there for me. I haven't figured that part out yet. I have not figured out the music yet.
I don't know why this music is so hype right now, but hey, welcome. Welcome, everybody.
Don't change the music.
We are live. We're live here with the first episode of From Darkness with Love, set in the system of Knights Black Agents and the world of Prospect City through a glorious mix of things. So we're gonna throw on some less explosive music because I had forgot to change stations here before we went live. I'm gonna turn out just a little bit, but yeah, Knights Black Agents as promoted by Scooter, who's so excited to be here. Speaking of Scooter and his excitement to be here, I think he has some announcements. Hold on, I almost got that without failing.
Those things.
Yeah.
We have those things. Yep. So yeah, we're I should probably pull them up because I don't think I did. So we always want to here at Time Tabletop, we always, for some reason, we get more followers when we're not broadcasting, and I don't know if that's a hint. But I always want to make sure that we give them shout outs for following and all that kind of good stuff. So let me pull up this real quick. I'm going to pull up follows. Oh, thank you for the follow, Time to Tabletop bot. Look at Scooter doesn't know what he's doing. So let me pull this up and I will show you that. So we had about 5 different followers, but we always got to make sure that we give our sponsors a shout out because I know you saw some of them on there. Ambient Realms gives us some of the music that we're doing. There's also a sponsor that helps us out with like equipment on this end, and it's very, very helpful. So thank you everyone for helping us out. Geekspiel, for sure. Huge props for hosting and co-hosting and doing all these kind of stuff. There's more projects in the future. And then, thanks to the big thumb in the bottom there. He's a good networking kind of dude. And then Fenichipi, thank you very much for doing all this kind of good stuff. This is so cool. So I just want to give a shout out to those people that are involved, not just sponsoring, but they're here. Look at this. There's Wade, Annie, Jazz. I mean, some people that I know a little bit, and other people that I don't know at all. So that's our big thing. Make sure and check out those things. The big thing that we want to make sure of tonight, I want to make sure, let's put it here, a few exclamation point. What did I put? NB Agents. If you put in NB Agents, you can use the code, the pro hashtag time to NBA to get $5 off Knights Black Agents. So make sure and check them out. Pelgranepress.com. That's what we just established. So, awesome. And if we get enough viewers and stuff going on here, there's some stuff that we'd really like to give away. So I don't have a direct link to it, but if you exclamation point merch, it takes it to the Time to Tabletop apparel. So if you go to Time to Tabletop's apparel, there is a From Darkness with Love t-shirt available right now for $18.50. What? It's the lowest I could get it without losing money. So make sure to check it out. No joke. We make 11 cents per shirt. So please go get those because that's where our moneymaker is. But not only that, but Pelgrane Press, Kat, thank you so much. Sent us a copy. This is not my copy. See, I have, look at, there's 2 of them.
What?
What
is this?
It's mine. One of them I bought, but the other one was sent to us by Pelgrane. So if we get enough people that create enough hype in here and watch, we're going to probably set up some sort of giveaway that I can send this to you. It's fresh. I haven't even opened it, honestly.
Did you smell that?
I was going to open it and smell it, but I didn't want to ruin it for whoever we
smell your own book.
Yeah, I like really put my nose in my own book.
Smell your own book, sir.
Yeah, it's words to live by. I think that's a poster with the cat.
Smell your own book.
Yeah, smell your own book. So I probably missed a bunch of people, but thanks everyone for hanging out, and let's give this all to the storyteller here, this cinematic director here.
Yes,
yeah.
Fen, the director.
Fen, that is me. Once again, final thank yous to everyone who's helped make this possible. I cannot express my joy that you guys are all like, that sounds cool, let's go do this. And I'm like, okay. But yes, let us dive into the world.
Live.
Yeah. Let us dive into the world of Night's Black Agents, and specifically From Darkness with Love. For this fine world, our group of agents coming and hailing from various locations and with various backgrounds, various stories that they all have yet to unfurl fully. They all come together under the guidance, I say that loosely, of Cecropia and Luna, a detective agency, and a pair of individuals in the Prospect City area. These fine individuals, the pair, have made a name for themselves in the private eye world, and as such, have seeked out each one of our members here for their services in some fashion. That being said, why don't we go around real quick, do some brief introductions, so that way we all can, for everybody on air, to catch up to where we are before we dive into tonight's session.
Well, actually, real quick, Fen, if
Sure.
you don't mind.
Yeah.
For those of you not familiar who are tuning in, this is based off the gumshoe system from Pelgrane.
Yes.
Really, in my opinion, innovative system that as we play through this tonight, it's going to come off as pretty cinematic, and the things that we're going to take away from each session, honestly, are going to play like a movie in our heads and your heads, and that's our goal anyway. But we're really excited to play with this system, and super excited. So,
No, that's perfect. Thank you for
Gumshoe.
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 It's a beautiful system, and I love the lend towards the cinematography idea and visuals that kind of come from the mind space. Anyhow,
so Wade, do you want to take it away? You can start us off here, since you're directly associated with Pelgrane too, and maybe give a little plug there along the way.
I am indeed. Yeah, my name's Wade. I have written for Pelgrane Press for 13th Age, as well as a little bit of Drama System, which is another fantastic game that they make, and I help with their community relations. This session I will be playing the character of Jack Driver, who's kind of the wheelman of the group.
Wheelman with hidden talents. I think that's the best part of like the system that you guys that we'll see too.
He is many layered, and yeah, as the Gumshoe is an investigative role-playing system, so it's centered on solving mysteries, finding clues, putting the pieces together, and every Gumshoe game is a little different. The system is tweaked to emulate a specific genre. In this case, the Mission Impossible Bourne Identity action thriller. So we're going to be doing some stuff here, some explosive things,
some stuff and things.
Yeah. Stuff and things.
Easy stuff.
So why don't we go ahead, let's go counterclockwise from there. Annie, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character?
Dr. Rachel Lawson, yes. She's the resident, forensics expert, as well as psychologist, criminal psychologist. Basically, the crime scene looks like it's probably... She'll probably figure out a thing or two about it.
Excellent.
So when these guys start getting beat up or a little messed up in the head, that's where she comes in.
That's where she really shines. The saying "not all heroes wear capes" definitely applies to Dr. Rachel.
Definitely.
I guess am I next on the counterclockwise here? I can't really. I don't know
Yes, clockwise. Yes, that would be you. Sorry,
okay.
Wrong direction. Clockwise, not counterclockwise.
No, it's fine. I will be playing. I'm Will, by the way, from various different locations on the internet at this point. Smunchy Games, Geek Spiel, just to name a few. But I will be playing Devin Armisen, and I am a analyst and hacker. So kind of your one package deal, data finder and an analyzer. So this should be a lot of fun. I think Scooter, you're next.
Oh,
No, wait. We got Jazz before Scooter, and then
Oh, see,
Scooter
my
was-
screen's different than yours. My screen's
yeah,
different.
yeah. No, it'll be. I'm going off of what's on the show.
You're in the stream.
Yeah.
so we got to do the breeding.
I'm Jazz,
Yep.
also known as Bunny. I play Evie, and Black Dagger, and then I take you out. It's very much the wild child of the group, I think, is what's going to happen. That's fun.
Confirmed.
Awesome.
Okay, now it's on me, right?
Now it's
Yes.
Oh, cool. I'm Scooter. Time tabletop, that kind of guy. But
Nobody important.
character that I'm playing tonight. I'm David. Establish yourself as an ally. I will keep you alive. Are you a contract? We'll never meet.
Oh,
If David already gives you chills, don't worry, guys. It's just the beginning. Almost every interaction with David throughout the evening is going to leave you scarred. In some way.
I'm
It
hoping
don't-
to make somebody's skin crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Let's see
do
if it works.
constantly with me at least. So, and I'm the director. So,
Power is the cinnamon roll.
so.
We'll see. We'll see.
And to end it off, I am Fennicini. I will be the director of today's episode, today's session. And so we dive in to the crew. 4 out of the 5 members have just finished retaining a witness in a bizarre murder that has left more questions than answers for the moment. And after retaining him and going on their merry way, they realized they were being tailed. And as they were being tailed, they made a decision to stop at a wonderful location called the Taco. This comes after the events of a rather kind of lengthy but pretty awesome and evidence-finding session of investigation. And as they wrap that up, go to the Taco, a marvelous Mexican fast food restaurant.
That's right.
Where
The taco.
the Taco, not
The
to be,
taco. Do not.
it is called the Taco. There are multiple of them. It is a chain restaurant. People have, according to local rumor, there is a debate going on which the Taco is the best the Taco. I don't remember who's currently in the lead. I feel like there was a debate about it.
I think the one we visited last week was up there, but then was not after the amount of violence that occurred in the park.
I would believe, yes. The amount of violence that occurred.
If you're rating the taco based on how much blood is in the parking lot, this one has really shot up the charts and is,
It's definitely number one.
It's definitely up there.
no one with a bullet.
Yep.
Yeah. Number one with the bullet. Nice way.
Loaded gun complex.
So,
Very nice.
upon getting into the drive-through line of the Taco, our illustrious individuals, both David and Evie, hopped out to do a bit of distraction and extermination of the tailing individuals. There were 3 cars that they kind of made note of as they were leaving the scene of the crime, 2 of which followed them to the Taco. A Camaro and another 4-door Dodge Charger. They proceeded to exterminate these individuals with pretty sound prejudice. And then 4 out of the 5 make their getaway in the, I believe it's the I believe it's gray. Is that? Do I have that color? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it was
probably
gray, but it turned crimson with
yes.
the blood that
I would say
that was
maybe
sprayed
a little
upon it.
crimson now. The gray, maybe crimson Santa Fe that Jack Driver currently owns. And later on in the afternoon, our illustrious David, who was on the rooftop, took his time packing up and made his way back via bus. We will kind of come in this evening as the five of you, as David, you make your return to the safe house. The other four of you have already been there for approximately about half an hour, with your witness in tow, by the name of Richie. He's looking a little more calm now, but to start this off,
Well, actually, Mr. Director, if you don't
Yes.
mind, could you illustrate our surroundings right now? We're at
Yes,
the safe house.
you're at a safe house.
Just get to describe it. So, what does it look like?
I would say the safe house is one provided to you by Scorpio and Luna. It's one of their many that kind of litter the city. It is this. It's off of a back alley, though there is a garage that has a pin access and code that leads to a small kind of house. It's a 2-story house that's kind of centered in this outcropping of mostly a residential area, but like apartment building complexes and stuff like that. It's red on the exterior, has white trim around the window panes and around the roof. The roofing is tiled in the gray tile that kind of is very prominent around this area and as general. It's on the inside, it's a little more refurbished. It's not showing its age. The outside of the building definitely looks like it's been made in the 70s or 80s, but the inside has definitely been kept up with modern touches. And the basement itself has a lovely safe house bunker, which in theory could survive maybe a nuclear fallout if needed.
Okay.
And so in that, I will leave you guys to your devices. There's plenty of things to do there. So why don't we?
So I think we just got back, and from last session, Richie was pretty shaken up. So Devin sort of walks up. Richie, how you holding up, buddy?
I'm doing kind of okay. Like, I think I'm doing a little better-ish. I mean, it was kind of a scary bit, but like,
yeah, I'll tell you what. We have some of the great stuff from the taco. So why don't you head over to the kitchen and grab a bite? I'm sure you're hungry.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go and play some games for a little bit. So if you feel like you want to do that, feel free to join me.
I may join in. Yeah. Yeah.
There's always a spot, man. Always a spot.
Walk up behind Devin and with like a big handful of gauze and just like smack your shoulder at this point and just throw tape onto it. You're still bleeding. You might want to.
Yes.
Patch
that up at some point. Just saying.
And so Devin just sort of, he's like, oh. And he looks over, just realizing like how bad it actually is.
Yeah, as the adrenaline begins to wear off, as you guys return, that throbbing is now starting to actually ache.
Yeah,
as it is a gunshot wound. So,
So Devin actually, then heads up. He's going to head up to one of the rooms, one of the bedrooms.
Okay.
And he sort of just powers on his computer and starts plugging away at whatever games he's playing.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Richie will kind of come up and join you after a little while. Obviously, like, eating tacos, but he comes up, joins in, grabs a controller.
Cool.
That you have saying about. What are the rest of you doing for the moment?
I'm going to patch that up, too.
I would say, Jazz, you're starting to feel that gut wound.
I was about to say, I'm like, all right. I'm like, can I be next in line for the?
You want me to patch that up? You're bleeding. Oh goodness.
I'm gonna start taking my shirt off. Help me.
Yeah. Oh, Well, that is something. Let's see.
Why don't we have you make a medic check for this one? And then if you go back to further work on Devin, you will make one for that as well. A good rules person who knows this better than anybody else. Does that make sense?
If memory serves, just spending points in medic will translate automatic to health points regained in the person being treated.
Perfect. Then we'll do that.
2 health points for every 1 point spent.
Gotcha. Perfect. So
I dumped tons of skill points into medic. So, how bad are you?
I'm just pulling up and make sure.
1 to 7? How are you feeling right now? Or is it a 1 to 8? I can't never remember what the scale is supposed to be. You know the change of hospital?
1 to 10, I'm a 7.
Oh, all right. That's all right. Well, then let's just get this patched up. It doesn't look like it hit any, major vital organs. So I think,
It hurt.
Fine. Make sure you drink extra fluids, that whole thing. And I will spend 1 point. Oh, I mean, we've got some smoothies in the fridge, I think. I got the good ones. They're pretty good.
Rachel not only does an amazing job as a medic, she also made sure that our fridge was stocked. Like, no one else went to the grocery store. Rachel, just pulling you guys into the story. Rachel, was one that, did all the chores and, make sure the place is clean.
Yeah, there's an organic market, 2.5 blocks down the street. How can I not, hit that up, man? Plus, I mean, we've got a perfectly good juicer in here. It would be really sad to not ever use it.
You hear Devin yell down from upstairs, "Yo, did I hear somebody said smoothies?"
Yeah. Mixed berry or banana?
Mixed berry, please.
All right.
Smoothies.
So you regain 2 of your health points that you have lost, and you're feeling pretty good. And as you guys are making smoothies, Wade, Jack Driver, what is he up to?
Yeah. We found kind of a puzzling thing at the scene of the crime, specifically a business card.
Yes.
With the name of a motorcycle gang.
Yes, the Zatkodzam Motorcycle Club.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to find a quiet network. That would be, Arnie from Arnie's Garage.
Mm-hmm.
Full name Ariana Lopez.
Yes. Give him a call.
Completely legitimate garage owner. He doesn't get involved in any business that anyone knows of. By which anyone, I mean the police. And by the police, I mean the police who have not been bribed to look the other way.
All right. So you're going to give Arnie a call?
I'm going to give Ariana a call.
Okay.
And see if I can get any information from her about this motorcycle club.
Gotcha. Go ahead and give her a ring.
All right. So I have her on speed dial because she is one of my close contacts and confidants.
All right. Perfect. 3 rings in, she answers and goes, "Hello?
Hey, Arnie, this is Jack. How you?
I'm doing all right. How about you? How's
getting along. The usual.
Always good to hear.
Hey, so I'm working a job, and I was wondering if you knew anything about these fellas, the Zatkodzam Motorcycle Club. Does that ring a bell?
There's a brief pause before. Yeah, I do know a little bit about them. They're a motorcycle club based out of here, though they have operations elsewhere. Some of the people I know, they deal with them off and on. Some of the other garage owners. I personally don't dabble in their affairs for reasons. But they're mostly legitimate.
Mostly legitimate. So what's the part that's not legitimate?
Oh, they They deal in some questionable practices, but
I mean, are we talking just run-of-the-mill drugs, trafficking, guns, that kind of thing? Or is it
Yeah,
something like a
it's-
little weird?
it's mostly guns and drugs. There's always been a weird. There's always been something. I'm trying to remember it, and for right now, the life of me, I can't seem to.
What if I spent one of my network points? Would that help?
It could be persuasive.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. The interesting about. Oh yeah, and she thinks about it for a second, then she recalls. They deal in. I can't remember. I don't remember if this. I feel like somebody told me they dealt in pharmaceuticals as well.
Huh.
But I don't know if that's like they deal with it directly or if it's something they deal with like. I want to say it's almost something they have like another company that they own type deal. I can't put my finger on what the name of it is.
Quick, sorry, I'm gonna break
No,
in
you're
for
good.
just a second.
Sure thing.
For the sake of the viewers, I'm going to do a little flashback action here.
Perfect.
In the first session, the accident that happened was with the forklift, and Richie was the forklift driver. And there was a death, and it exposed a case of pharmaceuticals on the ground. His foreman, I forget the name off the top of my head, but his foreman was part of this motorcycle gang that Jack is now doing research into.
His boss, in fact, Lewis, was
Lewis
the
Powell, yes.
was the deceased. His body was not found at the location, but I did find his wallet, which is where I got the business card. And so, yeah, Jack is hearing this, and we sort of flash back to the warehouse and us opening that metal box, which was full of pharmaceuticals made by a company, I believe, Z-Tech.
Yes, Z-Tech is the name. And she goes, that sounds familiar. I think that might be... I want to say that's like the... I'm fairly certain. I can give one of my contacts a call and double check, but I'm fairly certain that's the name of the company that they use as like a front.
So these Zakatsan guys, do you know where their headquarters is? Where can we find them?
You could... let me think. I gotta look up the name. Sorry. I got a name. It's got a place.
Please
Okay.
hold.
Please hold. Your adventure is important to us.
Just a little group of people going like,
Yes.
Just
Like
actually
Monty
just the
Python
white noise of a
intermission.
blender in the background.
right, leave the bullet.
The sound of Call of Duty coming up from the basement.
I know they run a lot of their operations around here out of Tammy's Blue Axe. I know you've heard of it. It's one of the dive bars. In
Dive
kind of dive bar. Excuse me. Dive bars in the center of town. You know.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. I know that place. Rough place.
yeah. It's. I know that's where a lot of them hang out, at least, and I've heard, and I can cross-reference with my contacts, but I'm pretty sure they'll basically tell me what I've just told you, that that's where they do a lot of their business in the Prospect area. So,
Anything else you got from me? Who the leader?
let's see. The leader.
You hear her leafing through like all these books. She's just like such a gossip, like rat. She's like, I know I have the information here somewhere.
Yep.
This is my 5th call today of ratting people out.
I know her.
The name of the at least the Prospect Cities chapter is Mistro Kuxos. MASTROKUXOS.
All right.
So
Mr. Kutsos.
She heads the Prospect City chapter of the Binder Cycle Club and handles all of their affairs, at least on the legitimate side of things.
Yeah, right. All right. Hey, thanks, Arnie. Appreciate your help. I owe you one.
Yeah, sure thing.
I mean, I owe you a bunch, but you know,
Hey,
come see.
I'll add it to the tab.
All right, take it easy, Arnie.
You do the same, Jack.
I relay this information to my colleagues.
You all now have the information, and that's approximately when David walks in, back from bus stop. He enters in.
I toss him a taco.
And without blinking or without even stop movement, it goes in the air and keeps walking.
Nice.
He eats it very slowly, but efficiently to where the last bite is right before he sits down.
Mm-hmm.
But sits down in a quiet corner, establishes a small table, gets a cloth out, puts it down, pulls his guns out, lays them on the table in the parts, begins cleaning them. And while he's cleaning them, this is just like a pan out shot or whatever.
Of course.
Things are not adding up. Deaths, no explanation. The bait is now in our place of rest. Not adding up. Must be prepared. Not adding up. And he completes, because it doesn't take him long to clean stuff. He's very efficient. His hands come up. He spins his ring 5 times on his finger, pulls it off, puts it in his front pocket, and sits.
So, as David sort of wraps that up, I pop back downstairs. Richie's just gaming upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be relatively relaxed. And I pop over to Evie. And Evie, do you mind checking the security in this place with me? Just to make sure we're sort of up to snuff. I don't
Yeah,
hear you,
just
Evie.
grab my. She's gonna pull out her. She always keeps a set of like tactical throwing knives on her. She's just gonna like pick them up and wrap them back around. The one goes on the inside of her. The other one goes around her leg, and then she's like, "Let's go."
All right, so
Nice
so
hack.
oh, nice hack.
Basically, I go the move where you're like,
So basically, so to convey to the director, essentially, the two of us are going to hit up, and spend whatever is required.
I would say I don't think you need to spend anything for the moment. Just having notice will be enough to let you take in that currently the surroundings seem to be safe. There's nobody else on the little back alley street that leads into your driveway for the safe house. The fence perimeter seems all up to snuff. There is barbed wire.
I'd like to add one countermeasure. Any windows, I'd like to electrify.
You'd like to electrify the windows.
Yeah.
How do you plan on doing that?
Basically through basically running wires through the frames.
Okay.
And if there aren't contact points that would carry a charge, we would apply them. So some plates, metal plates, and wires.
Okay.
And we just down to the circuit box.
Gotcha. I think that's something I want to have you roll, but I need to figure out what.
Sure.
Where is my book?
While Rachel is pouring the smoothies. And there's some juices too. Yeah, David, I added the omega-3 powder this time, so it should help, with a little more clarity. all that stuff.
Clarity.
Keratin's good too. Eyesight.
Nothing's clear right now.
Would preparedness make sense, Wade?
I think preparedness would be good if people were trying to break in and Devin said, "Oh, FYI, a few hours ago I wired this."
Okay,
I was thinking maybe mechanics.
That was something I was also thinking. Was mechanics would be the other one. That is one of the two.
And mechanics is under.
It's a general ability.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there, since Evie and I are working out together, do we get like a bonus or something to do that together, or we just go based on the highest number there? Do you have a high mechanics, Evie?
I'm looking now.
I mean, I can take a quick look at, in med school, they made us take at least 2 or 3 physics classes.
If you two are going to cooperate, the lead can spend any number of points from their pool to add to the die roll, and the assistant may pay any number of points from the pool, and all but one is applied to the die roll. So basically, you spend a point to cooperate with somebody, and then you can add X number of points to their roll.
Yeah, I'll spend 2 from my pool. Do you want to spend any from your mechanics pool if you have any?
I don't have.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, if you want, I can add one for you.
All right. Well, yours will be negated though because. Yeah. Right, Wade?
What's that?
Hers would be negated if she only adds 1. She has to add like at least 2, doesn't she?
Correct.
I have 2 available.
I don't want to. That's all right. I'll just add 2 for mine.
Okay. Here's the thing. I have 4 mechanics. So basically, like you corral Evie to help you install some stuff, and you say, "All right, would you do this?" And she just kind of stares at you blankly.
She like looks.
I would say,
she gives me a
could you help me? And she stares at you blankly. So it's like, all right.
Yeah, I would say as you guys are wrapping up the perimeter check, and you're like, all right, hey, Evie, do you want to help me put in these things? That's when Evie the eyes glaze over because she has no concept of what that entails. But Jack,
I'm good at breaking into things. I am not good at setting those things up. So you like break something or find something
hardware problem, clearly.
Can you break it in reverse?
Right.
Do I break it first and then go backward?
So then, if Jack contributed 2 points, I contributed 2 points. His becomes 1.
So you get a +1 from me.
Yeah. So
and I get a +2 from me. So I rolled a 3. It's a total of 6.
Total of 6. Awesome. It I'd say it takes like probably about 20 minutes to go through all the windows. 20, 25 minutes, but it's definitely well done, and it's very it's set in such a way that it's not obvious. It's tucked away, but anybody who tries to open that without properly disabling that will get electrocuted. So
all right.
That is now a safety measure.
So Devin just sort of walks away and he's like, all right, back to killing some more noobs. And he goes up to his room to go play some more games.
Edie, what's up?
Possible, since I glazed over and was not able to help them with that. I wanted to check out the license plate and VIN numbers of the car that I took from the shootout so that I can trace it back to see who the heck was following us.
Okay, let's see.
I was going to use my research.
Okay, your research. Okay, that I'd say that's. I'd say it's probably applicable.
Yeah. All right.
So I would say you just need to. I think just having it would probably be easy enough because I don't think I need to make you spend
roll
for. Well, you wouldn't roll because it's a investigative ability anyway. Because you don't roll for those. So, I would say through having the research ability, open to you. You are able to kind of doing some quick backdoor entry into the local Prospect City kind of police force. You're able to pull the VIN. Yeah. You were able to pull the. What are you looking for? Just like registration, who owns it and stuff like that.
I'm seeing if the car was registered, has been registered. If it has been, is it still under the current owner? Has it been reported stolen? So then I can see what local chop shops like. It kind of just
okay. I'm gonna say you were able to see that it is currently registered to a. To a Zwan Fen, and the latest report on that was that it was a pullover for speeding, doing a 55 and a 45, and they were let off with a warning. It was the owner of the vehicle at the time of the pulling over. It has not been reported stolen or missing. And currently the tags are up to date. Nothing registration. It has insurance according to the police.
I look up Zwangfen.
Zwanfen, Xuan space Fen. That's the name on the registration.
Can I like look up that person, like perform like a background check on them?
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Would that also fall under research?
It depends on how he's going. Social engineering. Is it internet search? Is it
Are you pinging out your network? Like, do you have somebody connected to the police station you're contacting for this information? That's where it all ties into. So how are you trying to acquire this?
Yeah. The one question, and then I have the answer to that. Are these local tags?
This is Nevada plates at least, and the address on the registration is like in the outskirts of Prospect City.
Okay, so Evie works she does archiving. Day job. Yeah. I definitely think she'd have networks into like the archives to see like, is that person still alive? Where does that person live right now? Like a local census to see if when was the last time this person was accounted for.
Okay. I would say
you messed up with the digital files can.
Gotcha. I would say if you want to, you could spend one network. If you reach out to your network, I would say you could. Yeah, I'd say you can reach out to your network, and if you want to spend, you can from your network. If you're going to do it that way, it will net you more information if you do.
If you have like a VPN, if you have a VPN due to your career there, and have ready access to those archives, then you could just bump me off my computer and do it that way, which would just be an investigation check.
Yeah, there's also that.
True.
Investigation.
That would be research again, because you're just using a computer to find records that are available with just a little bit of searching.
Yes.
I am going to spend 2 for that research. We can dive in and see what kind of information we can get on this.
Okay. If you are going to spend 2, you will find a pretty extensive background on Zwan Fen, who she was, who she is. Last time, she currently works at a architecture firm, and a little bit of research through kind of backdooring reads that she, according to rosters, has not been seen at work for approximately a week, and you get her entire life story, 4.0 grade average in high school, and a bunch of other stuff that is not important. What is important is her connection.
Actually, what high school did she go to?
What high school did she go to? She went to. She went to.
I might have to blend in. I actually need this information.
You're good.
That's right.
She went to Eureka High School and graduated within the top 5% of her class.
Wait, what year? How old is this woman?
Can I pretend this?
You know what?
It's like how hard do I have to work to blend in?
Hello, fellow kids.
We're in the same class.
I will say how old are you, Evie, in this?
23.
23. Okay, so she graduated the class of 2010.
Okay.
So
We're like carry the 2. Okay.
This is present, right? We're in the present, right?
yes, we are in 2019, 18. That is correct. That is our current time frame. Yes, she graduated in 2010, top 5% of her class.
Okay, so she's around my age.
Mm-hmm. She is. I would say, from what you can gather, her date of birth is 91. Probably like August 15th.
Too real. Calm down.
So,
I am like looking over Evie's shoulder and I say, she got a Facebook page?
You get out of here.
she does indeed have.
Saying.
She does indeed have a Facebook page, and
Devin's also.
After my marks when I'm done with them, and normally when I'm done with them, nobody else wants them.
And Devin is like legit getting upset now that you guys are all hogging.
now you guys are all crowding around his laptop. Richie's just kind of like almost fascinated at the backdooring you guys are doing into. A quick scrub through her Facebook page says that she's in a relationship with another individual by the name of Ren Bai, who and he is also from the same architecture firm, and is currently is not marked missing on the roster.
What's the name of the firm? I think that's really all the information I need at the time.
Dating. I don't know. We might have to report them to HR.
Right?
At last, we found the goal of the adventure.
That's it. Good night, guys. That's it. That was the goal. We solved the case.
That was it. It's done. Yep. You guys got it. You cracked it.
Well, I mean, so, yes. So that name of the architecture firm would be awesome. And also, I'm just wondering if there have been worried messages left on her Facebook profile.
There are no straight Facebook timeline posts. Super easy to hack into her account, though, and there is a flood of messages asking, hey, where have you been? Are you okay? Like, from many people, her mother, her sister, a lot of her coworkers have sent them off and on throughout the week, just kind of making sure that checking in, being like, hey, checking in, just hoping you're okay.
So I really only need, like, 3 more bits of information.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can, because this is becoming like a thing.
Yeah.
I please have 2 friends' names and 1 family member's name, and I think that's all I need other than the firm, and I think I have everything I need on this person.
The architecture firm is named Beechwoods. Beechwoods Architecture, located out of also in Prospect City, obviously. Friends' names and the sister's name.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second. Her sister's name is Kwan Delan, she's currently married to a Yang Delan. And 2 of her coworkers' names, you said?
Yes.
Okay. One of the names is Jacob Danvers, who seems to be kind of her boss. And then another one, more of a coworker outside of Ren, is Aristo Canizo.
And for those watching, we dive deep into the role play here. Like this is like the stuff that CSI cuts out in edits.
Yes. Yeah, this is the stuff that CSI glosses over for good reason.
For good reason, Wade. Yes.
No,
Yes,
this is
I
real.
love it.
This
This is
is real.
Over time, I think Rachel's probably going to spend some time to like upload the photographs,
Mhm.
maybe run like 16 DNA samples at that point.
DNA. Okay. So, is there
We do
anything
have
else?
a car full of blood and brains.
We do. Just out of curiosity, is there anything else you want from that research, or is that sufficed for you?
Possible ends, mark, information, and background information, Facebook pictures for locations, and all of her personal items. I think I have everything I need to become one of her best friends from work.
Perfect. With that, why don't we shift over to the DNA samples that Dr. Rachel is running? Dr. Rachel, I would say
my lab in the basement.
your lab in the basement has everything you need to run DNA samples. I would say it takes you a little while, and while everybody else is doing this research upstairs, this is when you're running these DNA tests. Smoothie in hand as you head downstairs, keeping it well away as to not contaminate the evidence.
I would. Is it okay if David is as close as possible to Dr. Rachel doing her research?
The closest possible, as in right behind
to
her.
not taint the sample. This is where he doesn't understand what's going on.
Okay.
With the whole mess that's happening.
You just gotta hold up a pair of gloves over her shoulder.
Just something to where he wants to see what's going on.
You could be anywhere inside her laboratory and probably be able to see what's going on.
Without
wherever
not to be too close to mess with crap.
Okay,
That
cool.
He doesn't know what he's doing. but he wants
David's
the
like,
answer.
yeah, no, I understand that, but I want her to feel my breath on the nape of her neck.
Well,
Seriously, he wants to be at least close enough to where his head is tilted.
you see,
yeah.
Dr. Rachel, it's a brief moment before you catch the heat emanating off of from him as he is about maybe 3 or 4 feet from you and just a step behind, just looking over the evidence, not really looking at you. And as you take these DNA samples and as they get run through the machine, you get you get 2 different sets of DNA from the blood samples. One is very clearly the victim of the scene, Lionel, and the other takes you a moment, and doing a quick run through some medical lab testing, comes up to be the same blood type as Louis Powell, the boss. And I would say, utilizing your abilities in forensic pathology, without you spending any points, that's what that nets you.
Excellent. Well, Louis, looks like you were at the wrong time, wrong place at the wrong time.
Or the wrong place at the right time?
Maybe.
But yeah.
I guess.
I would say 8 of the samples that you've taken were Lionel's, come up as Lionel's blood type. 4 of the samples returned Louis' blood type.
Ooh, interesting.
So, as you're kind of thinking back to where you were when you took these samples and the way when you numbered them, I'm assuming you numbered them from closest to the body to furthest.
Yeah.
The numbers, all of the numbers of 9, 10, 11, and 12 are the 4 that match Louis Powell's.
The furthest out.
Okay.
Huh.
So I imagine you're sharing that information, right, Doctor?
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, I'm probably speaking out loud in David's hearing and everything, so.
Right, I would say this is something that, as David, you're hearing Dr. Rachel just kind of talk out loud as she's going through this process of analyzing the DNA and the blood
That's
samples.
Interesting. I wonder Didn't look like there's any blood spatter. To you, I mean, you are an expert in guns, aren't you, David?
I have dabbled.
Typically, there would be some sort of places, and not just like a full kind of exsanguination like this.
Not if you're careful.
Interesting. I wonder what they did with that body.
The other thing that I would say is of note, and I know Devin's upstairs, but I'd imagine we've become privy. That's why I asked if we're all privy to
Yeah,
this
I'd say as you guys wrap up your things, I would say maybe you head downstairs to meet up with Rachel, Dr. Rachel, and then she'll relay all this information at that time.
So I sort of like, I remember someone mentioning that there was more blood. I think it was you, Dr. Rachel. There was more blood around the victim's body than there should have been. That the blood was...
Apparently there should have been a second body somewhere, but there's no evidence
all
of...
the samples that you've taken from that pool of blood all belong to that single victim. So that victim had more blood than they should have.
There's two separate samples here, so there's enough blood from both.
Correct. Well, I guess what I mentioned was eight of those were of the victim, and then 4 further away were of the second body that we don't know what happened with. So that large pool of blood that you took eight samples from was of one victim.
The closest one. Which, I mean, again, I know that head wounds bleed a lot, but this is kind of a little bit over the top, if you ask me.
In your experience, medical experience,
if you want to be
hit a major artery in order to get that kind of exsanguination kind of going out like that. With the extra amount of blood there, I'm kind of curious exactly how or who happened to Louis. Perhaps roughly the same thing? I'm not sure.
Evie, you had a question or interjection?
Is there any possible way that, other than the initial impact for the bleeding, that maybe there were other lacerations? That way it was blood coming from multiple places?
I can pull up the pictures from the crime scene, see if we can find anything. Otherwise, we'll have to wait for autopsy before we can get to anything definitive.
And we have security cam footage of the incident.
I might be able to, if the pictures are good enough and they're really close enough, I think I have a lot and use that in order to recognize any type of lacerations or that wouldn't be done from that blunt force.
Right. So I will pull up the photographs from the crime scene, lay them all out so that it's pretty easy to see. Mostly close up of. You know, you get used to it over time. It's really not that big of a deal.
Gotcha. You pull up the photos. You're looking for possible other lacerations. Is that right, Bunny?
Anything that was done by a different type of weapon,
okay,
maybe if it was cut or something like that.
Let me see.
And we're looking. You're looking for that on Lionel, who was crushed and whose body we found.
Yes,
Correct.
the one who who received the head blow from the collapsing forklift.
That might have been just a finishing blow. I'm saying this in character. That might have just been a finishing blow. So there could have been prior bleed torture. And, that would make you bleed a lot while you're still making blood, and then you finally it's.
True. I mean, my suspicion again for that amount of bleeding, it would require some sort of artery to be severed. I would assume.
Just kind of covering
back to the director. Do they see anything? What do they have to do?
I'm trying to think. I don't think. Let me see. What do you have that would be?
I'm trying to remember whether we have the security camera footage on us, or if we just
You
watch
do
it.
on like your
we do,
cloud
we do.
files, like it's in the cloud storage, like the secure server that Cecropia and Luna have. But
Right. My recollection was that the incident was still just in pieces. We got shadowy figures, but nothing very clean. There's a lot of artifacting still in the video after Evie did a bunch of passes on it to clean it up.
That is correct. You were able to see more more people there than you guys interacted with at the crime scene when you guys arrived. And I don't think I'm going to have you roll this, but I think just because of how high... let's see. What do you... I would say just because you have a point in... Let me see. I'm trying to look through your character sheet real quick and find something that makes sense to me.
Forensic pathology.
That is one that would make sense for me. I'm trying to remember. Where do I have your character sheet?
I've got lots of points in forensic pathology.
Yeah, I would say it's something that you also noticed, Dr. Rachel, from your forensic pathology. Do you have that
Or
as
notice?
Yeah, I'd say or notice. Do you have? What was that?
That be under.
It'd be technical. Yeah, for either notice or forensic.
No.
You don't have a point in either?
Pathology.
Okay.
Because I don't really look at them.
Okay. I would say you don't notice anything immediately, Evie. I will say just because you have points in forensic pathology, Dr. Rachel, you will notice a bit where blood has kind of crusted and is coagulated along the base of the neck. Separate from that wound, it does not, and then because the blood trail does not lead into that blood crust, it leads away due to the nature of where his body fell and where it has been. And that might be possibly where more of the blood came from, because that would have been potentially near a major artery.
Yeah, right through the carotid there. Interesting. Yeah, perhaps like a piano wire or some sort of knife wound, perhaps. Exactly.
I'd say if you want to
So we'll have
spend...
to wait for autopsy before we get it completely verified. Oh, as for Louis, he might have suffered the same fate, but the fact that he was able to hear while losing half of his own, 4 liters of blood? It's 4 liters, isn't it? I should have looked that up.
believe it is.
So based on the information we've gathered at this point, Devin is saying here, it seems that we have 2 choices. We could investigate the architecture firm for the owner of the vehicle, or we could visit Tammy's Blue X, and I'm pretty thirsty.
There's more smoothies up in the kitchen.
And Devin just like, Dr. Rachel, for how brilliant you are.
See, the line "I'm thirsty" is when everything was supposed to go to.
Yeah, right. And then Dr. Rachel just had to poop on that.
Yeah.
All right, so
A third avenue is checking pharmaceutical.
I'm sorry, you cut out for me, Wade. What'd you say?
The pharmaceutical company is a third trail that we could follow up on.
That is also true. Now, but my gathering is the pharmaceutical company was where we were, the warehouse with all the computers.
that is a storage. That is a storage storage
we could follow
facility
up directly at ZTech.
Yeah. I'd say DTech.
Yeah.
I would say just because of your digital, I want to say,
Digital intrusion.
Digital intrusion, and this is something I think you would have probably gleaned while you were doing the rest of your digital intrusion back at there. Is you have a location of their they're kind of their offices for the Prospect area, and that is kind of more downtown proper. But they are in Prospect City.
So it's I think we should choose together here as a group. And the other thing that I will also make sure that we're all very clear on is that we eliminated 2 of the 3 vehicles that tailed us, and once we leave here, we must be aware of that.
I do believe we have a good bit of brain matter in the one vehicle.
Much.
If I'm not mistaken. Or at least a significant amount of DNA that's in that one vehicle of our assailants, correct?
Yes, the gray, I believe it was the gray Dodge Charger that Evie drove back to the safe house. That is currently probably still sitting in the driveway. I would say just behind the Santa Fe. There's both, while there's crimson on the outside of the Santa Fe, there is crimson all over the inside of the Dodge Charger.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Why don't I go put those on the simmer and then we can go get a drink?
Fade to black. There we go. You stole my thunder, Dr. Rachel.
So, while that was all transpiring, would David have noticed anything? Because when she was asking David the questions of, you know how to kill things, would he have noticed anything that would have been in relation to maybe some of the things that he's experienced in the past in his matter?
Namely, contract killing.
Namely, like, was somebody killed?
I would say,
because I would know how that looks.
Yeah. What do you? Let me see. Let me go open up your character sheet real quick and see what you have that I can pull from.
What do you have? What do you hide?
I mean, I have criminology.
Criminology might work.
I'm kind of a one-trick pony. There's not many.
I would say, because of you, just because you have points of criminology. And as you're kind of thinking back to, you're talking about the crime scene, or are you talking about just in general, like over the entire?
Well, just the crime scene, the way the body
the things she was sharing.
Yes, all the things she was sharing, the things I could see.
The weird pattern of blood.
Yeah, the weird pattern of blood. As you kind of see it, you definitely kind of agree with her idea that it might be piano wire or maybe a small knife. That has probably been pulled up. The shirt has then been pulled up to cover. It was very poorly done, just kind of based upon your experience and your knowledge on professional contract killing. It definitely did not look premeditated. And the fact that there's more blood from 2 victims indicates there was premeditation on somebody else. That's what the vibes you're getting from that. Was that Lionel, while dead, was kind of looks like an afterthought to you. That's kind of what the gears are turning in your head. That seemed like an afterthought.
Okay, so it was not clean. It was messy.
Yes.
Something was not planned.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, director.
Most welcome. So you guys are all heading off to Tammy's Blue Axe.
Yeah, I call shotgun on the Santa Fe again. I want a lot of blood from the vehicle.
Did we clean the other car?
No, look, just leave it there.
Can we put the other car in the garage?
There is a garage. There is a garage you can put the other car in.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Or a lake.
Kevin's like, guys, seriously, I'm thirsty. I know it sounded cool, but I'm really thirsty.
And then we head off to.
Put the mailbox flag up so that the cleaners know that something needs to be taken care of.
All right, flipping the mailbox sign up on your way out. You all head off to Tammy's Axe, Blue Axe. Excuse me.
Now, we are all, I think we're all familiar with the city.
Yes.
As we established, have any
Yep.
of us heard of this place?
I would say you all have you've at least kind of got an idea. Like you've heard of it as a bar, as like it's one of the dive bars in downtown. You're not whether you've been there or not isn't. I would say it's kind of up to your character's discretion and backstory. But you've at least heard of it. So
We're about halfway there, and I sort of like freak out a little bit. And I'm like, we forgot Richie at the house.
No, we left Richie there safely at the house.
Oh,
It's a safe house.
It's a safe house.
Devin's like,
It's right there in the name.
yeah, Devin was kind of like, okay, all right.
Right there.
Okay.
No,
I would have explained to Richie that probably someone's going to stop by. You know,
Richie, as you guys all go to leave, Richie's been kind of like, do you guys?
Where's everybody?
Where's everybody? I want to say, like, as you make this revelation, Devin, in the house, you have a cut to where Richie kind of just like pauses the game, puts it down, he finishes up another multiplayer round, goes, stands up, stretches, and then listens, and hears doors opening.
Takes the headphones off.
Yeah, takes the headphones off and is like, hears some footsteps downstairs and goes to investigate and is like trying to be super stealthy but is really bad at it because he's never done it a day before in his life. So it's super obvious that he's trying to make his way without being seen. And one of the cleaner guys kind of looks up and goes, you're the kid, aren't you? He goes, yeah. He's like not quite sure what to do, and he's like, this kind of portly gentleman looks up and goes, don't worry about it, we're just here to clean up some stuff. You're good, you're safe. They all went out to get some drinks. I'm sorry they didn't invite you. He goes, it's all good. I'm theoretically not legal anyway.
Theoretically. Nice, good, okay.
19-year-old kid.
Yep. And
You can't take him drinking.
you guys pull up to Tammy's Blue Axe. It is a rather giant, big-sized axe. Is made out of blue neon that kind of covers over this dive bar. And
Are we talking guitar axe or like?
No, like an axe, a blue physical,
like a
axe.
literal axe, like the
I mean,
weapon.
it could have been a guitar.
It
like,
could have been. Maybe.
Mark Green level.
Maybe. Oh, here's an
It's
idea.
both.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It
there
has
is a
strings
blue.
down-
There is a
down.
blue axe that is made of blue axe, and there is a red neon guitar inlaid into the axe.
All right, then.
As you all pull up, the Tammy's kind of lights up individual letter by letter. You guys see about half a dozen cars and about 10 or so motorcycles that are sitting kind of out front. All the motorcycles are lined up. They look similar in make, but each have individual colors and other personalities. As you guys are...
We made it for happy hour.
It is that time of day. So...
We're figuring, we were waiting to see people who have been here. Evie frequents this place a lot. She's here to make sure she is seen with people that look a little bit like, in which they can say, oh yeah, I saw her here with the blonde girl the other day. Or yeah, I saw her here with, with this guy who had funky hair the other day. She's always in conversations.
Yeah, Evie gets around is what the bouncers are basically.
Just
it's
jealous
her.
of turning them down.
I wonder what's going on this night with four of the people.
Yeah, I want to say as you all approach the dive bar, one of the bouncers looks over at you, Evie, raises a quizzical eyebrow, but says nothing and just kind of crosses his arms, waiting for something to happen.
Make sure everybody goes in before me and just look at him and just kind of go, you're still not invited. And then go inside.
Oh,
He just kind of looks at you and goes, that got old about the fourth time.
Cool.
So you all enter into a hazy and dimly lit bar. Kind of lights, kind of interspersed here and there, just to keep some light in the vicinity. Booths line the left wall, the right wall made up by this massive bar filled with all types of liquors on the back wall. A row of taps all kind of sit around 2/3 of the way down. What looks to be a gentleman dressed in a vest, vest, tie, and button-down shirt is currently elaborately pouring some sort of mixed drink that he doesn't really care for too much. A lot of people seem to be nursing beers of some sort. It's pretty busy. You see kind of what you're guessing most of the bikes came from is about 10 individuals all lining the bar with various biker jackets, some denim, some leather. One just like a vest, like a jean vest. As they all sit there nursing various liquors. There are a couple people, about 4 playing pool. Looks to be kind of like a doubles match. We need to come up with a off-brand beer, but one of the logos for that is currently blazoned on the light that overlooks the lamp, the pool table. Excuse me. There's a jukebox in the back corner as well, because no dive bar is complete without a jukebox.
Please, somebody hit G7. Let's get. Do you love pina coladas? Rocking here in this bar.
Do you love pina coladas?
I know. So the motorcycle gang, they have and things on their vests, various kinds of symbols and such.
Yes, various types of symbols, all kinds. I would say the one that kind of stands out to those of you with notice is let me make sure I have this right.
While he's working that out, I just walk up to the bar, order myself a carbon and Admiral.
Carbon and Admiral.
Carbon Cola, our proprietary brand for this campaign.
Old fashioned, please.
Ooh. The bartender nods as you say old fashioned, but is currently halfway through making the Carbon and Admiral.
WRT, the insignia. It occurs to me. I think Evie has a cult.
Ew.
And I'm wondering if there's anything like especially unusual on their insignia that she would notice.
Right.
That is something we will get to here in a moment.
Okay. There you go. Director's getting pumped.
Well, I pop in some chewing gum, walk over to the jukebox, and play "I Love Rock and Roll" by Jet.
What is it? I'm going to say it's B4 on the buttons that you push, and the intro begins to play as you walk back over to where the 5 of you have sat down at the bar. I'm going to say, any of you with noticed will immediately notice the patches on the jacket. Most of them vary in all sorts of colors and stuff. Some have some of the ribbons for various cancers and stuff like that as well. But each one you will take note as I try to remember which shoulder it's on.
But I'd like to find... David would like to go up to the bar, though. I mean,
okay.
He's not sitting down. Are you guys at the bar? Are we at the bar itself?
Pretty much.
I think everybody's at the bar themselves, getting drinks of various kinds.
I mean, I want to be close.
We're all like lined up at the bar where we all can see what's going on around us, waiting for
I wouldn't want my back like that. So
Devin did not think of any of that. He was just chilling with his carbon.
So I do walk up next to Devin. I want to stand next to Devin before I talk to the barkeep. And I want to look straight, not at Devin.
Are you looking at the bartender or just...
looking towards the barkeep, yes.
Okay.
But Devin, whatever side he's on there.
Okay.
They didn't finish the job. We didn't finish the job. Someone will finish the job. and I want to look him right in the eye. We must be first. Are you the barkeep?
He nods as he adds, puts in the finishing touches for the old fashioned and puts it up in front of Evie. What can I get for you?
That does snap Devin back a little bit. So go ahead and resolve that, and then I'll do something.
And then, so what can I
Barkeep?
get you? Yes.
Can I see one of your glasses, please?
Just the glass?
Just a glass.
You
We'll
want?
continue.
He kind of grabs, looks to be like a beer glass, and just kind of sets it out. You want anything in that?
And David takes out a cloth, cleans it, wipes it. Could you open a bottle of tequila and put 4.2 ounces in there for me, please? And a straw.
And at that point, Devin says, "You're going to want to make sure that's 4.2 exactly."
He looks between the two of
1.2.
you, thinks for a second, and goes, "Yep, give me 1 sec." And he kind of goes up. He goes, he looks at there's like a row of tequilas, all of them unopened because they're like the second bottles, so they finished the first ones. And he just kind of looks up and
Bill
goes,
Pepe is fine.
"Which got a preference?"
Anything unopened, please?
There's a lot of okay, sure. And he just kind of grabs really mid range, like not super expensive, but also not the cheapest, and just kind of pours out and like pulls out the ounce measures it, gets the last 0.2, looks at it for a second, puts it in, and then puts a straw in it, turns around and goes, "There you are."
And he tucks that cloth back in his pocket, pulls out like the most pristine stack of bills. Not a lot, but like they were just printed. Hands him 20. Thanks, barkeep.
You're welcome. Do you want change?
No, thank you.
All right. Folds it in half, and turns to go back to the bar, the bikers, which
Right.
I would say any of you would notice would be able to tell that on the left shoulder.
Did Will you want to resolve something too?
Oh yeah. So him saying that to me, I am automatically go to try to sense trouble. I have to based on what he did. So
Okay.
I have to sense trouble.
Okay. I would say
Sorry, I didn't-
go ahead and make me a sense trouble roll.
All right. It's going to be 2. I'm paying 2 outside of the roll.
Gotcha.
So 7.
7. You sense no immediate danger. You feel like, depending on how conversations go and how things may unfold, there may arise something. Maybe the bikers.
Okay.
Maybe,
Of course, but
Yeah, nothing. No immediate.
Relax again.
Yeah, no
Right, I
immediate
relax
threats.
again and okay.
Something could potentially arise between the members, and that's kind of as you're like scanning the crowd to see if there's any immediate threat. I would say you pick it up as well as everybody else who has notice, without spending any points. You all notice on the left shoulder of every one of their jackets is in a very old-fashioned, ornate styling, almost calligraphy, is a white Z on a black background. The background is there are subtle grays as you kind of look at it a little closer, that kind of do this ornate, almost fleur-de-lis type deal, that curl out into almost this fine, and the black makes up a shield backdrop for the Z. The Z takes up most of the shield, spills out to the left or right about a little bit. It is, I would say, takes up just that portion, the upper portion of the shoulder, where it meets kind of the top of the jacket.
And just to confirm, every single biker with their plethora of patches, all of them share the same on their left shoulder, you said?
Mm-hmm. And as you're kind of looking at that subtle grays with your occult, you kind of like it catches you off guard at first, and it almost kind of you have to be like, no, that can't be, no, but let's see, in the dark gray that offsets the black, there is what looks to be almost occult symbols for stuff that you kind of recall seeing for they were called winged demons in the book that you read, that this occult symbol you kind of recall from, and they were written as a horrific creature that whoever wrote it was unable to defeat and barely escaped alive from.
Did you say wind demons or winged?
Winged demons, like it has wings. Yes.
Winged
demons is what they are labeled in the occult book. That background calligraphy that is just kind of this drawing. That's what that is. You see it as you kind of it's hidden within other stuff, but it's definitely there. It is definitely there for a reason. But Evie.
All right. I'm gonna spend. Can I spend like? Is that like all the information I can glean?
You could spend if you wish to and gain more information on where as you are recalling that book and what that meant. You can spend for that.
First thing I'll relay the other information that I knew to everybody, just kind of in whispered tones. It goes, does anybody else see that?
That's it.
Like going on a rant. That's how you get most of your information from Evie. Is she notices something and then suddenly she's just talking, and you either there to hear it or.
Yeah.
I mean, people use symbology all the time. That's not all that big of a deal. It doesn't really indicate anything. You know, dragons. It's not like that. That's pretty common.
Have you never watched the X-Files?
Dragon, and basically, so we are here to settle down from what happened earlier. I'm guessing, yes.
Yes, kinda.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we with the purpose. I mean, we all know that there's
so
a
like
tie
the character. I'm asking your character this.
Oh yeah, I'm here to chill out.
So we're just it's cranking. Going with this information, or am I just getting another drink?
Well, I mean, the concern I have is that Evie's talking a lot at this point, and these guys are pretty close to me, and I can hear. So I'm just going to turn around and say, Evie, why don't you chill? Why don't you come over here? I'll grab you a drink.
All right. I've just stored in the back of my brain. I'm not going to spend or anything like that, but I want to just store that symbol in the back of my brain so I can come back to it later.
Yes,
so as Evie approaches me, though, she sits closer to me. I, in a much lower voice, turn to her and say, "They can hear what you're saying. They can hear exactly what you're saying. So we don't want them to know that."
On, so I don't know how to people.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, you cut off for me. Go ahead. What'd you say again? I'm sorry.
Evie looks at you and responds, I'm not on right now, so I don't know how to people correctly.
Evie, that's fine. I'm just telling you. Let's keep that between us right now.
Ex-boyfriend.
I can help you with that.
People?
I can people.
Literally.
Now Devin just spits his drink out over the bar. David says that.
Is that normal? And he's just gonna take out cloth and start just rubbing your face. This is normal.
Okay.
I would like to use a skill.
Yes. What skill would you like to use?
I would like to sort of casually surveilling these biker characters. Maybe using Streetwise. Can I see any other tattoos or anything that would indicate things like, has been to prison, has murdered somebody, is the leader of this gang?
Gotcha. Yeah. You can gather from Streetwise, and I'm not gonna make you sad, that the one in the middle of the 10, who is sitting of the left middle, because 10 is an even number, so the left middle, based upon a couple of tattoos that he has kind of lacing that you kind of see disappear into his collar, you can kind of get the fact that he's probably at least the ringleader of this group. You kind of get the feeling that a lot of them have either murdered or been to prison, one of the two, some both. And you get the feeling that they have similar tattoos. They aren't matching, but they have similar symbols, similar ideology behind them. That kind of they all have their own unique take on them.
Sure.
So you kind of get the feeling that some have been. I would say about half of them have murdered somebody. A third of them have been to prison. And there you have the ringleader, and then you have kind of to his right. So the right of the 10 is probably like the second in command of this group. And I would say that's something you can get just from having Streetwise.
So Jack, where's Jack in relation to me at this point?
I'd say.
Is he pretty close?
Are you are still at the bar with?
I'm still at the bar. So like right now, Evie's to my left.
Yep. David's to your right.
David's to my right. Rachel, I think, is probably next to Jack. You guys are still like in the general receiving area of the bar.
I just walked over from the jukebox. I'm ordering a beer.
Okay. It doesn't take him long. Yep. The beer is handed to you, Jack, with like no time at all. Bartender's pretty good. Not enough foam to make it palpable, but not too much.
Yeah.
So basically, at this point, is there a table off of the bar? Like
there's
seating.
There's booths. There's a couple tables. A few are open. A few are taken.
So I'd like to sort of move toward the one that's outside of like a cluster of people. Maybe that gives us a little bit of privacy, but also
I would say, I know what you're saying. I would say there is a booth that is kind of like the corner booth that has enough seating for all of you that is currently not taken. Doesn't seem to be like there's anybody close by. It's kind of secluded off on its own.
I'm going to go ahead and grab my drink, and I'm going to sort of give a little nudge elbow to David, tap Evie on the shoulder, and sort of like give Jack a little like signal to move all together. And then I'd imagine Dr. Rachel's still in this sort of general area, sort of like do like a little head nod. A combination of symbols just so that everybody understands. Yeah. I'm trying to go to the table.
I'd say within a brief moment, all 5 of you are.
Would you like to go sit at the table?
Yes, David, please. And I just recollect. I have to chuckle a little bit too as we're walking across, and I just remember David saying he could people, and so
I'm peopling right now.
He's peopling.
I am peopling.
Bang up job.
I am peopling.
So as we sit down, I remember how well Jack handled our first day on the job together, especially with peopling. So I sort of, Jack.
Yeah.
I'd imagine you have a pretty good your finger on the pulse here. Evie, you were saying a lot of crazy things over there, which is okay. That's fine. Now that we're a little out of the way, put us in the loop here. What's going on?
Okay, so the symbol on their jackets, thing, it represents, and then I'm gonna like information that was said earlier, so that
of course
everyone kind of understands and like make sure I'm saying it right.
Yep.
And I was asking if you wanted me to keep chug-a-lugging with that.
Well, I mean, and then all the information relayed. So what you're telling me is that this is beyond a regular biker symbol. The occult symbology is triggering a thought in your head that it's tied to something called winged demons. Yeah.
That is how they were referenced in this book. In the book, that occult symbol is being pulled. Where that link is.
I'm pinging to you, director.
Yes.
And anything from, I know we talked briefly about stuff, but anything from my past that would have overlapped in this, like the winged demon aspect of it.
The winged demon aspect of it. from your
Do I
past,
recall any of that?
as you're kind of thinking back to that time, nothing immediately strikes your fancy. But as you look at that occult symbol a little more, you've seen it somewhere before, and you cannot place your finger on where that is.
Right. Okay. So let's be honest, Stevie. I know a lot of other people around here are going to discredit you on this, but I'm getting the heebie-jeebies of that one character in the left corner of their patch. And if you're saying it's Winged Demon, that's freaking me out a little bit more. Jack, what are your thoughts on this, man?
Well, I mean, I've been kind of scoping out tattoos. It's a really hard bunch. A lot of them done some time. A lot of them have put some folks in the ground. I mean, they also have cancer ribbons on their jacket, which is surprisingly empathetic and socially conscious.
Of course. Well,
You're a bad guy.
right?
Doesn't make you a bad guy.
Yeah.
and I think the reality is we all have mothers, no matter how hardened of a criminal we are. So I'm sure that's just their twisted take on support.
Some are pink, some are actually other colors.
Yeah.
I would say one is. I'll go first. Anyhow,
most of them are probably colorectal, and they've all had a form of colorectal cancer, and it's a selfish reason for them having the ribbon. But
So what I was thinking. Is that
surprisingly,
yes.
Devin, as you look at all those jackets after making that witty remark, none of them have a blue ribbon that would indicate rectal cancer.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry, I assume. And when we assume, it makes an ass out of you and me.
Oh, see the correlation.
But what I will beyond the chiding and everything else we're doing here,
yes.
Jack, is the reality. I feel the most confident in you approaching these guys. Without.
Oh yeah. I mean, I will admit I am the shadiest of the bunch. I've done a.
I look at you, and I look over at David, and I look back at Jack, and I'm like, "You sure about that one?"
Let's say that David and I run in different. These are more my people.
Right. And I put my hand over on. I put my hand on David's shoulder. And why don't you take? I want to bench you from people in tonight. Is that cool?
Are we peopling now?
Yeah, just let's people between each other, between our group. How's that sound? Does that sound like a good people plan?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, David.
May I people more?
And I just started shaking my head. I'm like, okay, Jack, take it away.
All right, and I'll find a seat to set my now 4.0 ounces.
Yes.
With my straw in it and start sipping.
Yes, I would say all of you are going to be at this corner booth, unless you dictate otherwise. So, Jack, what are you up to?
Yes. All right. So I'm going to stick my gum underneath the table get my beer, and tip everyone a wink, and wander over to where the bikers are sitting.
Okay.
I'm going to head toward the ringleader.
Okay, I'm going to say they are a few of them have remained at the bar. Some of them have filtered off to a booth. The ringleader is one of those people. He's in in one of these two booths that each of them have kind of taken up. That some of them have taken up. I'd say 2 are still there, and then four each on these 2 booths. He's on the closer of the two to where you are currently standing.
Could I invest one of my network points in one of these gang members and say that I recognize him as part of a crew that I was working with? Maybe don't know him directly, but
I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with. I won't say it's the ringleader, but I can say.
No.
I would say somebody at his table.
That's a bit much.
That's fine. Somebody at his table definitely will recognize you, and you can recognize him. You guys have worked in the same circle once or twice. So, do you have a name for him, or do you want me to give him one?
Yeah, he's Eddie Gutierrez.
Eddie Gutierrez? Okay.
Not to be confused with pro wrestler Eddie Guerrero.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Just in case you were going to confuse him with that Eddie.
Yes. I definitely had planned on confusing him with that Eddie. All right. So, you're going to approach the table. I'd say, as you're still a few paces off, Eddie kind of looks up and goes, huh, I haven't seen you since the job downtown a year or two back. What was it? Not a year or two, but when was it? I don't remember, but
It was about it was about 6 months.
yeah, that's right.
6 months, give or take. How?
I'm doing good, Jack. How about you?
Hey, things are going okay, but I'm sort of between engagements right now. So I figured I'd wander over and say hello and, see if you'd heard anything about a job coming up.
About a job coming up.
You and me, we work pretty well together, I thought.
Yeah, we did. I definitely appreciated your driving skills. Plus, that parkour thing was wild, man.
Yeah, well, it was an online class. What can I say?
He kind of look. He gives you that like, was it? Was it? Look, and the ringleader is kind of just sitting there, has his hands kind of folded, chin kind of resting on him, and he kind of looks up at you and goes, looks up at Eddie. He goes, "Is he good?" And Eddie just kind of looks at him and goes, "Yeah, he's straight, boss." And the guy looks at you and goes, "Pull up a chair.
Right.
I might have something for you."
I pull out a chair from a nearby table and turn around.
Yep.
Lean in.
Gotcha. He goes, "You looking for a job?"
Yeah, I could use some work. You got anything?
I kind of do. I gotta... You deal with dirty work, right? You can get your hands dirty?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like red dirty.
Yeah. I keep my mouth shut.
Good. You see, one of my guys, one of my old pals, someone very dear to me, is missing.
Ah, Jesus. Sorry to hear that.
It happens. It's the nature of this lifestyle. Unfortunately, what that means for me is the shipment that I was going to have go through now needs a new driver.
Details?
Details are there's a shipment at a warehouse. Eddie will drop you the address. The other part of this, I also need you to, with the help of who I'm assuming are your compatriots, which maybe it's bold of me to assume, but they kind of look like they run the circles you run.
That's my crew, yeah.
They, maybe with their help, you can go find this old friend of mine. This is more what I'm interested in. If you can't make the driving pit, that's no problem. I can always find a replacement. What I'm more interested in is I need somebody from the outside to take my old friend out. Because if
your missing friend, ensure that he stays missing?
Yeah, that's kind of what I need. Because if he doesn't stay missing, there might be some bad business between the crew. So, I kind of need him to stay missing.
Can you give me a name?
I can give you a name.
Pulls out his ledger.
Yep.
He's thinking very carefully. Can he trust me?
Yep, that is definitely. He definitely like is sitting there and he's pondering. He gives Eddie this look, and Eddie returns it, and he's just kind of like nods slowly, and he goes, "The name of the guy you're looking for If my thing with the... Hold on. We'll get there. Maybe. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll never get
And
there.
this is a total one-on-one conversation, correct?
Yes. It's a one-on-one between the ringleader and Jack, but the ringleader's friends are there, but they're all already in on it. So, yes is the short answer.
But you doubtless noticed us glancing over in y'all's direction and
Yeah, as you definitely
conciliatory gesture.
Yeah, you definitely guys do will notice that both the guy that he opened the conversation with and then the other person that has been doing most of the talking now, all three of them will turn to look at all four of you for a brief moment before turning back to the conversation. The name of the guy is going to be Manik Nakon. Dear friend of mine. I haven't seen him in approximately 2 weeks. No note. Missing car. He's not the only guy I haven't heard from, but I'm not too worried about those guys just yet, so...
Do you want me to work directly with you on this, or one of your lieutenants?
Eddie will give you the rest of the details. I'm not too... I don't think it's super pressing. When you get it done, you can get it done. If he comes back, we can work with it. It's not a... It's one of those, it'd be nice, but it won't kill me type deals. But if you can get it done, there's an in for you.
Can we talk compensation?
Yes, we can. Well, your crew included, we compensated for your time and efforts. How does what is that? 15,000 apiece sound good? 10,000?
I think that'll work. That's just about our friends and family discount. Sure.
Perfect. Kind of chuckles at he goes, 15 it is. For each of you, obviously.
And there's a driving job attached to this, or
I mean, if you want. That's an if you want to. I opened it up with that, but it's really not the important part. If you want to do the driving job, that's another 20 for you. But if you have time, get with Eddie. He can give you the rest of the details on that one.
Yeah. Let's put a pin in that. All right. So yeah, I'll low down on this character, and we'll take care of business for you.
Good. Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you.
He extends a hand to you. He goes,
okay.
Hold on. Apello
Dude, would I sense? Am I sensing any troubles in it? Because that would be where I'm at.
Go ahead and roll me a sense trouble.
Okay. Because they looked over at us.
Mm-hmm.
He's watching out for his crew.
As you guys, especially those of you who've noticed, kind of realize the body language is not unnecessarily tense. It's not like looks like it doesn't look like things are heating up. It doesn't look like there's any sort of clashing.
Not gonna pop off as the children say.
Yeah, it's not gonna pop off anytime soon.
Okay. But I mean, is that just? Do I need to roll anything, or do you want me to?
I don't think you. If you want to roll, you can. I don't think you need to get the sense that there is no trouble.
And Fenn, you said when he shakes my hand,
he'll extend a hand, and he goes, "Abuelo de Rita, I'm head of the downtown Zacot Zams." When he shakes your hand,
yes.
It is a vice-like grip that you feel almost your bones crunching. It is almost unnaturally strong.
All right. I do my best to meet his gaze and not flinch or wince.
There is a very piercing stare that is waiting for that wince.
Mm-hmm. It's a pleasure to do business with you. I'll be in touch.
He kind of nods and goes, get with Eddie, but if you need me, he can direct you.
Right.
And he turns back, takes a swig of his beer, and leaves you to your devices.
I head back to the table.
Okay. I would say about a minute or two passes before you get a text from Eddie with an address. It is on the west side of Prospect City, about a little ways out.
So when Jack gets back, I'm gonna ask, what'd you find out about the body?
Listen, I like to take a delicate touch with these things. All right, so I've made some connections. I made some friends.
All right.
A lead on a missing person. We're working our way in gradually.
So Devin just so nothing.
I'm not going to say nothing. I've opened a door. Established lines of communication.
And now
Me
Devin's
and
even more
my buddy Eddie. We're going to talk. We'll earn their trust. Everything's going to be great. Oh, by the way, we have to.
We have to what?
You have to.
I'll tell you in the car. No, it's great. We're gonna make a lot of money.
Devin's like, I was comfortable with the money I was already making. What's this doing to us?
Well, I can take your share if you want. If you're saying you don't need money.
He's just gonna slowly rise in between them, side quest.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
And then just chugs her drink and just down.
Yeah. So, Jack, I trust you on this. I'll follow you on this, but your reader, the guy. Should we not mention that name? Should we not ask about this situation without doing this job first?
Look, this guy. I think doing this job will give us an in. Like I said, earn some trust, maybe loosen them up so that we can ask these kinds of questions without raising their suspicions. Because these are some hard characters, and that guy, their ringleader, Abuela. There's something about him that was really off, inhumanly strong, and I do not exaggerate for effect. I mean, his grip was like nothing I've ever felt from anyone before. So, yeah, I got a bad feeling about him. We got to tread lightly.
Anabolic steroids are commonly used, and Rachel's going to start going on.
Dr.
Really medical.
Dr. Will, actually.
I'm going to stay really close to Dr. Rachel.
Steroids are commonly used amongst them with gym rats and everything else. It's not unusual. We're out of character. Guys, it's a very common explanation. Clearly,
I kind of roll my eyes and throw up my hand.
And she's just so is possession.
So I'm good to go. I'm good to go when you're ready, Jack.
All right,
One question.
Yes.
Turn on now?
Yes.
Okay. You could just closes her eyes and take a really deep breath in, and when she breathes out, her body's relaxed, and it's another person just showed up. And she just seems really there suddenly.
So yeah, I text or I show the address on my phone and say, "I'm ready when you are."
Shotgun.
we finish our drinks and hit the road.
Yep. As you do so, you pull out. Any of you with notice? As you guys are pulling out, and you guys begin to pull, you stop at a red light about 10 feet away as a car pulls from the left-hand turn lane into the opposing traffic. It is a very familiar black Charger that pulls into the tranny's blue X and parks. And the light turns green.
Hmm.
He like locks her door.
So this is after we exited the.
Yep. After you
We're already traveling.
Yeah.
We're on the road.
You are you're not far, but you are out of the parking lot. You are at a red light, and then coming from your right, making a left-hand turn into oncoming traffic, and then you watch kind of from like the rearview mirror and a side mirror, or one of you can turn. You see them pull into the parking lot and pull into one of the parking spaces.
You want to circle back around to see if we can spy on these guys?
We see, how clearly can we see them when they get out of the car?
If you want to spend a point of notice, you can gather detailed information.
What would I be spending?
Point of notice.
This?
Yeah.
Notice under technical abilities, I believe.
Yep. And that is for any of you who have notice that want to spend it.
Barely have any.
I have plenty, so I'll go ahead and spend one.
Okay.
And as well.
You're going to spend one as well? Okay. The both of you are able to notice with good detail. Each of them are not currently wearing a jacket, but as the red light continues and they have like the left-hand turn, like left-hand greens going, you guys see all three of them kind of open the trunk and pull out similar jackets to the same individuals on the inside and throw them on.
This is bad.
They close the trunk and begin to walk inside. Each one of them has similar tattoos, and each one of the jackets does have the same left shoulder Z insignia.
Perhaps we should check the trunks when we get home, when we get back. Assuming the cleaners didn't take the car already.
Right.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's my car now. I left a note.
I'm. I don't want to head back. Let's figure out what we're doing with this other situation.
Okay. Now I feel like the address will either find information that will lead us on to this, looking for this missing guy and about what's going on with the gang and their operations, or it'll be a trap and we'll get to shoot people.
Wait.
Is Jack saying that out loud?
Yes, Jack will say that out loud.
So I will be allowed to people again.
Not only allowed, encouraged, my friend.
Devin just shakes his head, and he's like, "Oh, the term people has been so distorted today."
All right,
analyst brain. The car that we always basically kind of travel in since we started working together.
Yeah.
Just like crawl over the back seat and get like this big duffel bag out and goes, all right, so who doesn't have what they normally have? Like your medical bag, but death.
I mean, I always carry my medical bag with me. It's the other duffel bag right next to it. It's the blue one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll pass on the death bag, but thanks.
Yeah, I think I'm good with what I have.
David?
Well put together, Evie.
Yeah.
My backpack comes out. I put a ring on my
Not
finger.
with normal guns and be like, okay.
Yep, just preparing.
All right.
I like the business with the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Put my ring on. Pull out just my pistol and my 2 knives. And prepare.
David, is this a wedding ring? Is it on that finger?
It's actually on my left pointer.
Okay.
This is where you'll see it.
Interesting.
Just what we're talking about, like as we continue to drive, yeah.
Yes, that's basically why as you're driving. I'd say it takes about maybe 15 minutes, given current time and traffic, before you arrive at a building on the west side. It's a little run down. It seems to stand alone. There is a foreclosure in bright orange plastered to the front door as you guys kind of pull into the driveway. No lights are on from that you can see from the building. So,
do you want to do the usual and sort of not go in the front door here and try to find another way in instead of the standard?
It is a. Let me expand on the description of the building.
Sure.
It is a one-story building with kind of a separate garage. The garage door is closed. It's a little behind, so you'll go drive past the house to get to the garage. There's a one-story building. It runs farther back than it does wide, as you guys can kind of see as you're pulling up in the driveway. Just from the outside, it looks a little older, like it's also aging, but it's not. Doesn't look neglected.
Okay. All right. I mean, car stops. We all getting out.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it possible for me to use my streetwise to kind of like recognize the street, the area that we're in?
I would say you don't have to use a point, but you just having your streetwise, you'll know that you're on the west side. It's a poorer community these days, but it was once kind of considered like the upper middle class area. Just due to aging and stuff like that, most of the values of all the houses have gone down, and just the area as a whole. A lot of places up here are usually for sale or something like that. You kind of get the feeling that it's maybe why this person from the Zat Code Zam might be here, but
can I do a quick cursory, make it just look like a block undetected kind of idea, like a surveillance side of idea to kind of just get a
readout?
Yeah. Do you want to run surveillance with me, Rachel?
Okay. You guys are walking. How far are you guys going?
I'm going to loop my arm in her arm, and we're going to take a quick stroll around the area, kind of like a perimeter check.
Okay.
Yeah, long enough to go take the, if we had a dog, to take the dog for a walk kind of idea.
Yeah. That's why I'm looping. I'm hoping the loop will make it seem like we're just going for a little stroll.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't think you have to use any points, but just your knowledge of surveillance and techniques. You guys are able to make the pass around the block. It's a pretty quiet day. Some cars return to their houses, and you don't see a black Dodge Charger that you guys kind of are. You do not see that. You do not see anything that looks to be similar to the bikes that were at the Tammy's Blue Axe. I'd say the closest thing, a dog barks, and that's the only thing that kind of sets you off. But even that's just somebody has a dog out in the yard, and after a few minutes, a old lady comes out and goes, "Hey, you stop that!" No, the dog kind of looks at her, and just kind of goes, and as you guys finish walking, hustles inside. Seems pretty quiet around here.
So it seems we have two choices here, and this is Devin actually speaking to the group as they come back around. Did you guys see anything at all?
Quiet, not a lot going on. There's a dog. Gonna say what side it was on, so if anything we should avoid over there so that there's less noise.
Okay. So I see a garage and I see the main building. Garage is detached. We're dealing with a biker. Probably, even if he's not in the garage, we're going to see evidence of him being here, and we can pick up on that there. What are your thoughts?
I counter and say that that's probably the most secured place then, because he is a biker. Information, that's where I store all his tools, and that's where it'll be most secure.
Probably. So maybe you want to work some magic, Evie, and make sure that he doesn't have anything rigged up to make us hurt before we enter.
Okay. And he just like ducks down a little and just starts moving silently.
Okay.
And resolve other things I don't want to take over, but we can get to it when we can.
Gotcha. So, Evie, you're gonna go look for potential countermeasures to intrusion. I would say, Devin,
Is
are you?
infiltration something I could use?
It's probably something that I'm gonna have you use here in a moment. I'm just gonna make sure. I want to get ideas from everybody what they're doing.
Okay.
So, Evie, you're doing that. Devin, are you assisting that?
Yeah,
Or-
I'm moving forward with her.
Okay.
Do what I can to assist.
Okay. Jack, what are you up to?
While they're checking out the garage, honestly, I'm going to stay behind the wheel, ready to get everybody out just in case things break bad. Depending on what they find or don't, then I may leave, but this is where I am right now.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect. You are awaiting in case you need a quick getaway. Dr. Rachel, David?
Yeah, before I get out, I do need to ask, like, do we have a description of our target?
Hey, this is all I got is address and name. Manique. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing this right. Manique Nakon.
Yes.
Manique
Yes.
Nakon. And he slithers out. He looks him dead in the eye. Manique Nakon. And then slides out the door.
I kind of mutter to myself, R.I.P. Manique Nakon.
Rip. Dr. Rachel.
I'm going to shotgun, and my camera happens to have a better zoom on it than I would probably otherwise. So I would like to take on the stakeout. Look to see if I notice anybody's watching us, if there's any movement target-wise that seems to be off or that I need to message into the team.
You know what? I'm gonna really reach here,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna because I'm gonna have a weird feeling about the whole situation at this point. Partially because Jack, put that seed in my head that this might be a setup. I'm gonna go ahead and reach out to one of my contacts before we really move forward on this building. I'm gonna just yell out, "Evie, hold up!" I'm gonna see if he can send me satellite footage, or at least photography, from the last, week's period of this location.
Gotcha. Are you going to spend some of your network points to do so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend whatever I really spend for that.
I'd say you only need to spend one for it. It's not a hard thing to pull and send satellite imagery.
Yeah, I'm reaching out to one of my old FBI contacts, David Evans.
Yep. David Evans, you shoot him the request, and after a brief moment, he shoots you back a handful of images from various satellite sources. For the most part, almost all of them over the past week do not seem to indicate anything other than a very. It's not been there's one car that pulled up to the roadside. And on one picture, it does not match any of the description. It doesn't look like any of the cars you've seen. That none of the Charger, not the Charger, not any of the cars that were out in front of Tammy's X. It's not any of the bikes, obviously. And you're kind of putting it together. It might be that the person who put the foreclosure sign up is kind of what you're getting from that one.
Okay.
But he goes, but hold up, and he sends you one from roughly 2.5 weeks ago, a collection of them as they were taken. There is a bike halfway through a turn into the driveway with a person on it. There is a picture with the door up and the bike moving in. There's a picture without back to its normal state. and then a picture of the door up and the bike leaving. And then there's one where it's closed and it is stopped right beside the house, like stood up with kickstand, and then it is another picture with nothing.
Okay.
That was all taken roughly. You kind of see the timestamps. It was about 2 weeks ago, about 5 p.m, and it was within a series of about an hour.
Okay. So I sort of, Jack's back in the car. Evie's right next to me. So Evie's privy to this because I share it with her, but everybody else is too far away for me to really share this information with. But I tell Evie, this is really not a lot of comings and goings. Doesn't look like there was a massive amount of vehicles piled up here in reaction to us being here. So from what I can infer from the information I've provided at this point, I still think we have to be careful about entering here, but there's a good chance that this is going to be information gathering while we're here. So let's go ahead and make sure there's no countermeasures. So we had to do that. So what do we have to do?
So jumping over to Evie, you are infiltrating or attempting to infiltrate. I'm going to say.
So before, sorry to interrupt you. Before we start anything, I just want to officially just look over and go. So basically, just mission is infiltration, information gathering, and then safe exit.
That's the plan.
Okay. I have you were setting the scene.
She said you go ahead and continue setting the scene. Sorry, you're cut out a lot on a spot.
Yeah, you cut
on
out
my
that
side.
I missed part of that. You said you said the information and stuff like that. Devin agreed, and then what'd you say after that? That's where it cut off.
For setting the scene, I cut you off. I wanted you to finish setting the scene.
Sure. Evie, you are approaching the garage. I have that correct? Or are you heading to the house?
Actually, I think we said everybody agreed that the garage would be where the information would most likely be gathered.
Yes.
So I'm going to try to find a safe way in there.
Okay. So as you're approaching, go ahead and roll me infiltration.
Actually, I have an infiltration cherry
Ooh.
called Open Sesame, and it says I can automatically bypass or pick any normal commercial door lock or alarm on buildings or vehicles without a test.
Cool.
Sweet.
Otherwise, if it's something more advanced, the difficulty.
Gotcha.
Nice.
For
those watching, a cherry is a special ability that you get when you or more rating in an ability.
Yes, when you have eight or more, you get a cherry, and you are able to use that whenever, such as right now. So you don't have to roll because it's a pretty simple lock, and it doesn't take you long at all to pick it to unlock it. It's a padlock attached to some chain that has been wrapped around what looks to be a couple sets of handles, and they're all turned this way. And as you've finished unlocking them, unwrapping the chains, you can easily turn them out, and then you feel the locking mechanism and the thing keeping the door closed release, allowing you to open it. As you were opening it, and as everybody else is currently standing where they are, you guys see a very disheveled garage space. It is, tools are lying kind of everywhere. They do not look like... I'm not sure anybody... Sorry, it does not look like somebody put them away. It looks like they were used and kind of left wherever. There's a couple... what look to be a couple nuts from what maybe was a tire still on the ground. Next, like about maybe 3 or 4 feet away, an actual spare tire that looks to be flat. It rests on its rim on the side. There's a lift, but it is currently lowered. on the far right side of the garage, there is a wall of various tools of all sorts. A lot of them still are hung up. Some are on the table on this workbench that extends the entire back wall, stopping just where a double set of tool. Word I'm looking for. Toolboxes, but they're like tool chests,
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, like a cabinet, maybe.
Yeah, tool cabinets, tool chests, where two of those sit next to each other. One is red with black doors. One is black with black doors. As you guys all take this in, there is a faint scent of iron.
What?
There's a faint scent of iron.
Of iron. Okay, so I'm gonna sort of. I think Rachel, you're still what? Are you near us at this point? Where are you?
I've split up the shotgun next to Jack.
Okay.
Really just
I
think.
Yeah, I was gonna walk out. Like I didn't even enter yet, but I was gonna sort of motion for. I was gonna sort of point to Rachel wherever she was in the car, and then ask her to join us out here.
Yep. Rachel, you see Devin point to you and then kind of motion, as he just said.
All right. I will grab my backpack of stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
Head in.
All right. You catch it as well as you kind of step up to the threshold of the garage with the faint smell of iron. You kind of detect it more as a... obviously, it definitely smells like a blood to you. It smells like dried, just kind of from guessing on the...
The instant cue where the gloves just get snapped on. Like,
Right.
always like,
And as you kind of make your way inside and kind of trying to pinpoint it, you see on the table is kind of where seems to be some splatters of blood. Not a lot. It almost looks like it was like a minor wound. Kind of just guessing from your knowledge of forensic pathology. It's a minor wound. It's nothing serious, but it was something that he did not tend to.
pictures, baggies,
Okay.
Yeah.
do the things.
I don't have a very strong notice, so I'll admit to the group openly and say, listen, I know you guys are better geared for a lot of this fun stuff. Is there anything you guys notice about this garage? We do like a collective sweep.
Okay.
Canvas,
I would say you can definitely do that. A collective sweep and canvas will net you. There's a hard drive on the far right end of this workbench that is not plugged into anything. It is just a 2.5 millimeter hard drive that is out of any laptop or any casing.
yoink.
You're able to see. You're going to find a spare set of keys that also have a little bit of blood on them. It's not... underneath one of the tool benches is what seems to be, as I was going to say, David. As you kind of approach and notice it, it's a loaded 9mm pistol. Just a quick rack and will show looks to be around, and as you undo the mag, it is a full clip of a pistol that is underneath a toolbox as you lift it up and kind of move it. As you guys are continuing to canvas the place,
David, yoink.
I check it. I open it up. It hasn't been discharged.
No,
recently.
There's no smell of gunpowder. The barrel looks clean after you take out the mag and eject the round to look down the barrel.
David's clean, or just
clean?
No,
not David's clean, but clean. It's not your level of clean, obviously, David. But it's obviously that it hasn't been fired recently.
So I very gingerly I'll set it back down. I do want to say that because the blood that we can have here is. Do we have a job to do? Many.
I turn to David and I say, "It doesn't seem in this garage, no, David.
Very well.
Right.
No people in right here, right now. What do you got, Dr. Rachel?
So it's just kind of like as if like someone had like a hand and like was touching.
Yeah, they had like a something dripping, but like had also like blood was on their hand because there's a couple of handprints, and you are definitely like it definitely looks like they just didn't tend to the wound, whatever it was.
Well, I can tell you this, that whoever this potential victim might be really needs to get themselves a Netflix subscription and find themselves a little more joy, probably, because there's a lot of not joy in this entire group.
Joy.
That's a spark joy from different tools and placement.
I agree. This is not very well kept.
Wow, yeah, David's not loving that either. So at this point, I'll ask you, Director.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing anything in here.
You cut out for me for a moment.
Sorry, our group isn't noticing anything beyond what you described to us at this point.
I think that I'm going to say that's it for here, for the garage.
Yeah, so I'm gonna sort of mobilize or try to mobilize our group here and to the main building.
All right. And last thing, there's no evidence of a motor, like anything of what kind of vehicle.
There's a spare tire there.
There's a spare tire that is flat.
Right. Does it look like it belongs to a 2-wheel or a 4-wheel vehicle?
2-wheeled. Specifically the back wheel, if you want to get particular. It looks similar to that tire tread.
I guess in analyzing the reason the tire was changed, or can we tell if it was a bullet wound? Or?
Just a quick look. There seems to be about 4 or 5 nails that are laced into the bottom of this.
Huh.
On the floor, because you said that it's a well-used garage. There are tools and stuff everywhere.
Yes.
So because I am on now, what information I've gathered from watching people and infiltrating the well-worn kind of path that people take when they go in the garage when they're in there all the time. They always go to the same all the time. Where is there the most usage?
You see the most usage both like kind of by tool cabinets and by the workbench, and kind of where you guess the bike was. Because kind of where the tire is laying in what you kind of imagine to be this pathway that he takes, just to the left of that is kind of where you imagine the bike would be, and you can kind of see as you get a little closer, you see kind of like where the tires have rested and left kind of trails in the dirt from sitting on the dust. But
did the sweep of the garage include opening the tool cabinet?
It can, but it will just it gives you all the tools that are not currently strewn across the floor or across the workbench.
Just nothing additive to the
nothing of what you guys can kind of deem of value.
All right.
Unless you deem toolkits of value item.
Yeah, so we're heading for the other building.
Okay. Perfect.